Our live episode of Season's Sunflower Hour. You guys know how much I look forward to this every single month. So thank you for stopping your night, taking the time to join us and meet our incredible guests. Now, September has been an amazing month for ALS United Greater Chicago. You guys heard me talk about it on the last show. We have had so many cool things happening this month, so many walks, so many opportunities to share stories from the ALS community, to spread awareness, and to raise awesome and much needed funds in this fight against ALS. So I want to give a big thank you to everybody who has taken part in all the events we've had so far and who's going to come and join us for the events we have coming up. Because on September 21st, we have our Walk ALS Northern Illinois. Now that is Sunday, September 21st at South Beloit City Park. It's not too late to join, you guys. If you still want to walk, if you want to join another team, if you want to come out and support and just have a great family day, do it. It's going to be a blast. Sam will put the information up in the comment section for you to get more info on where you can find out about the walk. It's walkalsnorthernillinois.org. Remember, September 21st, that is literally just around the corner. So hopefully we will see all of you there. I love seeing the comment section blow up already with people tuning in. Donna jumped in and said, so happy for another fantastic sunflower hour. Well, you know what? I absolutely agree. I am super pumped too. And you guys, our guests tonight are amazing. So make sure you keep blowing up that comment section. And you know what? How has everyone's summer been? I can't even believe it. I feel like we blinked and summer is completely gone already. So has anyone done any really cool, fun summer adventures? If so, throw them up in that comment section. Tell us what you've been up to as we are getting ready for our amazing guests tonight. I want to see them. I was waiting for someone to put something up right away and you didn't. So make sure you fill that comment section out. But we're going to get straight into it tonight. I love this show for so many reasons. And tonight's guests are two of those very reasons. Now, in 2021, we met one of my all-time favorite couples, Mike and Carrie Ricky. They had a fairy tale love story, and they created a life together that was even more magical than honestly any words I could ever put together to try to describe it. If you have ever met them or even spent a few seconds around them, you know exactly what I am talking about. They're an exceptional couple. They always will be. And they're two very exceptional people. Now, this show brought the Rickies into my life, and I can tell you hands down, I am forever grateful for that. Now, Mike was diagnosed with ALS and unfortunately lost his battle not too long ago. Now, Carrie continues to fight against ALS in Mike's honor. She continues to keep his story and his spirit alive. And tonight, we are going to do just that. Keep his beautiful light, keep literally that beautiful light that is Mike Ricky alive. So please welcome one of our very own ALS United Greater Chicago ambassador. And I'm so pumped to say one of my very good friends, Carrie Ricky.
Hi, Susan. Thank you for that amazing introduction. I appreciate it so much.
Carrie, I love you. I love you. I love Mike. I guess I can't say it enough. I'm so thankful that this show has brought you into my life. I honestly don't even remember what the heck I was doing before you came around. The two of you are just such an amazing couple, and you guys are Sunflower Hour veterans. You have been on this show a lot. It's been such a blast to get to see you over the years, and both a blast and both heartbreaking because we got to see Mike through the journey. We got to know Mike. We got to fall in love with Mike. We had to be there when we lost Mike. And we are still going to be here sharing his story and keeping that memory alive. So I want to kick this off because he was such an incredible man. For all of those that are maybe new to the show, that haven't seen those past episodes, that didn't get a chance to meet him, how would you describe Mike Ricky?
Well, let me start with the obvious. The first thing that attracted me to Mike Ricky was he's tall, dark hair, beautiful eyes, handsome. Those were the first things that I noticed. I actually first laid eyes on him as a 7th grader, and he was an 8th grader. But our paths didn't really cross till high school. But the rest is history after that. More importantly, Mike had an incredible soul. I think if you asked anybody that met him, knew him, worked for him, family, friends, the words that I think they would use to share about Mike would be, he was humble, he was kind, he was genuine, honest, and just had such a huge heart for everybody and everybody that he met. And he was not a person that was about material possessions. He was a person that relationships. And, starting with me as his wife, and then our children, Jacob and Stephen, as a dad and as a friend, he invested so much of himself in other people. And he was kind of a soft-spoken guy, but still made an immense amount of great friends throughout our lives. And we have been incredibly blessed by those people who were with us through the journey and are still with me today and helping me. I reached out to my boys today and I said, let them know I was going to be on the show. And I said, what would you want to share about your father? And I'm just going to read this because it touched me deeply. Our oldest son, Jacob, said, one thing I've found myself sharing about Dad is how he showed such an active interest in our interest as kids. He'd watch cartoons with us and engage in conversations about superheroes and Pokemon and all the games we were playing. I thought that was just the blueprint for being a dad, but now I'm realizing it's much rarer than I thought to invest in us the way that he did. And that is so true. I cannot tell you, he was about making memories with those boys. They were building forts in the living room all the time and, taking the tent out back. Yep. There's Mike on the left, Jacob in the middle, and Stephen on the right. And, he was just always trying to find silly little moments, to share with them. And I remember one time he took them on the roof on 4th of July to watch fireworks, which as a mother horrified me. I was in the house praying they would all be safe and not fall off, and they didn't. He took them rollerblading one day on New Year's Day. There was snow outside, just a light amount of snow. And he said, hey, let's go rollerblading, just making those fun little silly moments with them. And he was constantly doing that. And that was the joy of his life, was just being a dad. Our other son, Stephen, said, I definitely agree with all that Jacob said. And I feel like it was even more than just us as well. He had the enviable ability to meet people at their level and engage with them there. And that really just sums up who he is and what was important in his life. And it's, such a testament to him and what is valuable to love your friends, to invest in your friends. He didn't want to be the center of attention ever. He wanted you to feel like you were the center of his attention. And, he would always ask people about themselves, their family, what was going on. And he would always remember whatever they told him, the wife's name, the kids' names, so that the next time he talked to them, he would be able to recall that. And, and that's a gift. That's a true and rare gift. So that's his heart and soul. And he would always say, I think the guy was half nuts. I don't know. But he would always say, I either want to be with my wife or wish I were. And he really meant that. If he went golfing with his friends and they went out afterwards to grab a bite to eat, he would be, Carrie, come join us. I might be the only wife there, but he really just wanted me there. And I think the biggest thing I learned from Mike is probably unconditional love. We were a young married couple, and obviously it wasn't always, perfect. And it wasn't, I love that picture. It's my favorite picture. And it wasn't always, happiness, but he might not have always liked me, but he always made the choice to love me and stick with our relationship and our marriage, no matter what. And, that's a huge takeaway, and he was just so special in those ways. Besides that, he was an engineer, he was a nerd, he was a kid at heart. And, I just can't say enough about him. He loved golf, all things golf. We volunteered a lot. He loved to be on the golf course. He didn't care if it was raining, snowing, windy, hot, cold. He was grinning ear to ear anytime he was on a golf course. I mean, he just loved those parts of life. So that in a nutshell. And I will say, I actually went back and watched our first interview with you yesterday, it's still out there on YouTube. I think it was from April of 2021. And if anybody wants to get a little piece of Mike Ricky, and he has an amazing sense of humor, please go watch that, because I was just so proud of him, and it just shows who he is at his core, and you'll get some good laughs out of it.
Yeah, we're gonna have you come back because I haven't thought about. I was telling Sam literally. I thought I don't know where my head's been at. I don't have anything to blame it on, but I wish we would have put a compilation together of your guys's experiences on this show because you were on multiple times. There are so many beautiful moments.
Yeah.
I mean, even adorable ones where we caught you stealing little kisses behind the scenes in the green room. There were some Christmas hats on. Like there were just so many beautiful moments over the years. It's both shocking. I can't believe we've been going this long, which is super exciting. Shout out to all of the amazing people that are watching this show that have kept us going all these years. Thank you. This has been the best experience of my life. But getting to meet you guys and getting to see Mike over the years has just been, yeah, he did have the best sense of humor and smile. We've talked about these before.
He did.
He just
had an
had
amazing
this smile that lit up everything. You could feel it everywhere.
Yep, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, you guys are one of my all-time favorite models.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. He had a little bit of mischief in him too. He loved to play little games on people, and he could keep a secret like nobody. I'll give you one little example of his little bit of mischief. Years ago, our son Steven worked at TGI Fridays as a server. And so we all went there. It was Mike, myself, our other son Jake, his girlfriend at the time. I can't remember if they were married yet or not. Emily and Steven's girlfriend. We all went to, and we always would sit where Steven was serving, so he would wait on us. And we got done eating, and Mike handed Steven the credit card. And I could see Steven, he went over to where the credit card swiper was, and he swiped it. And he kind of looked funny, and he swiped it again. And about the fourth time he looked at the card, none of us knew, as a joke, Mike had given him his Kohl's card to swipe and pay for dinner. And none of us knew he had done that. And Steven turned around and just glared at him like, oh, you got me. And it was just little things like that that were just typical Mike to pull on people just for a little humor.
I love it. I mean, so Sam put up in the comment section, if anyone's interested in watching some past episodes with Mike, she went ahead and even put the link for the YouTubes. They're up in the comment section. Make sure you check those out because he was a blast. He was such a blast to just get to know. And I mean, ALS crept in and just took a lot. Right. It took a lot. One was Mike diagnosed with, I try to block this out of my brain because it was just too hard to even think about. One was Mike diagnosed with ALS.
He was diagnosed September 9th of 2019. And that photo of us dancing is pretty significant because that was our oldest son's wedding 5 days after Mike and I found out he had ALS. And our kids didn't know it. We obviously waited. You know, the wedding was phenomenal. It was a great distraction for us. But that photo, it to me it encapsulates Mike, healthy Mike. You know, he had a few symptoms then, but nobody else knew it. And you know, I just love that photo of him. And you know, there was so much going on that day that nobody knew. But we have that amazing memory and that amazing wedding day. And he got to see Jake and Emily get married. And the next year he was able to see Steven and Erica get married. And those are very wonderful moments that we were able to share before he passed away. And he passed away just a little over 2 years after he was diagnosed in December of 2021.
The worst. And you stepped into that role as a caregiver, which is not easy to do. Like you said, we were talking before the show, it doesn't just affect those that are dealing with ALS. It affects the entire family, you and your boys, and everybody was feeling this. I can't even imagine. What was it like seeing someone that you love go through what we all know ALS brings into the fold?
It was awful. I mean, you know, I was thinking about this earlier today, and you know, Mike was first and foremost, he was the provider in our house, not just financially, but he was the rock of our home. You know, he took care of all of us and he took that role very seriously. And so to see him have to, you know, lose those abilities and rely on us, I know, you know, was hard for him. And, but also, you know, I was just thinking ALS when it started, like I was kind of, I don't know where this came to me today, but it's like a freight train that you see in the distance. When it first starts, it's way out there. It's kind of small. You can hear it a little bit. It's like, okay, I see that coming, and then as it gets closer and closer and more symptoms come up, it gets bigger, it gets more disruptive, and it just starts coming at you, and you can't stop it. You absolutely can't. And it just becomes more and more and more, from little symptoms where you might have trouble walking, and then all of a sudden he can't walk, or he lost use of his hands really early on, which was hard because he couldn't do anything when that happened. He was mentally present, all of that, but, struggled to, brush his teeth, shave himself, get dressed, all those things. I honestly, we've had these conversations. I was happy to help him. He was the love of my life, and I knew he would do that for me. And, I said early on to you, we took those vows, and, we were going to get through it the best we could. And, he decided early on he wanted to be, that person that showed his kids, how do you get through this? How do you handle adversity? He wanted his friends and everyone to understand his faith was strong, and he wasn't going to let ALS define who he was, and he didn't. He was a fighter, he was a warrior, and he hit it head on. And, it was hard. It was really hard for all of us. And, but we walked through it day after day and tackled what we needed to tackle at the time.
And he always did it with such courage too. I will say that no matter what horrible situations were happening, what was going on around him, he still had that smile.
Absolutely.
He still had the smile. He still had the positive attitude. And I think, it's like you said, it was both the combination of this amazing faith, this amazing person he was anyway, the amazing faith he had, the support system he had around him. Mm-hmm. All of that just, I think, was a huge part in giving him strength. And you guys came into ALS United, which is incredible. I want to hear what that experience was like for you guys. I mean, what has ALS United meant to you and your family throughout Mike's battle, and even well after? It's been 2 years now, and you're still a part of this family. What have they meant to you?
It's actually been almost 4 years since Mike passed away.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Look at how I try to block it out of my life. I try to block it out. I can't even believe it's been that long. I remember making the announcement on the show, and it took everything in my power to just say the words.
Yeah. So I've been involved with ALS for, a good 6 years now. They were absolutely invaluable. I mean, we could not have gotten through all of that without their help. We connected with them early, and most importantly, like our care services coordinator, Kelly, was here in our area, and any questions, anything we needed, whether, it was a shower seat or, a handicap wheelchair, anything at all, they provided for us free of charge, and they had support groups that Mike and I called into. One was for caregivers like me, and, we could go to that safe space with other people who had either gone through it before or going through it at the same time as us, or have been through it. And we could talk to each other. We could, ask questions. How do you handle this? What do you do about that? And we could help each other. We could, just vent if we needed to vent. It was a safe space. And, to have that camaraderie of people, I am still friends with, the people that I went through support group with. And I know a lot of people hear support group and they think, oh, that's not for me. It's confidential. You don't have to participate. You can just listen. It's still valuable. You learn tricks of the trade. You learn what kind of tools are out there. If someone can't use their hands, there's an adaptive spoon that you might not know about, all those things that you can share. And then there was a support group for individuals who had ALS like Mike. And, he and I would go in on that, and he would find commonality with other people going through ALS. And, they could bond and they could share their experiences. That was so valuable to us, to just know we weren't alone and to have those resources available. And I will say wholeheartedly that without ALS, I was able to keep Mike in our house until his last breath. And, he is 6'3", I'm 5'2". He weighs about 100 pounds more than me. But because of the equipment they gave us, like they donated a Hoyer lift to us, which was the only way I could get him when he could no longer stand up in and out of bed and into his wheelchair. And without that, I couldn't have cared for him like I did. And, so for us, that was absolutely invaluable that we got to live out those years here in the comfort of his home where he wanted to be. So.
And as Carrie said, I hope that really hits people. Everything is free of charge. Yeah. So every dollar that gets donated, it's going to help people in the area like Mike be able to stay at home, be able to be with family, be able to make memories, because we're able to provide the equipment to help make that happen, or take things off your plate so that you don't have to worry about some of the, like you said, that freight train coming straight at you. You don't have to think about all of the mechanics that go around that. You can focus on the things that are really important, taking care of Mike, making memories with him, and spending time as a family, and letting ALS United take on some of those other logistics to help you and let you know what's coming for you. I love that you guys took advantage and were able to use the support groups, use the lending closet, be able to really use the resources that ALS United provided. It's great to hear what that was actually like from you.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't have done what we did without them. And, just to have that support, I didn't even know a lot of the stuff that was out there, but, I could call Kelly or email or text her and say, hey, we're having trouble with this. And she's like, oh, I have a solution for you, and then it might show up at my door, or she might deliver it, or it might be something online, that a video I could watch, and they have, their website is very valuable. There's so many resources on there. And I know there are people who, Mike and I coped with this by talking about it with each other, with others, by just being open and transparent. There are people who I know are very private, and that's not, how they manage things. But if you're one of those people, please go on the website. If nothing else, there are videos on how to do things. There's connections to, the steps of ALS, what to expect next, how to handle these things. They have online caregiver boot camps, and you just dial in, like you're not talking, you're watching presentations, and you learn how to make transfers and how to do things. So, even people who don't want to share, there are so many resources out there just on the website alone that will answer so many questions and be helpful.
That's awesome. That's a great thing to point out too. Actually, yeah, you don't have to be put on the spot. You don't have to speak up. If you're not ready to talk about this, you don't have to. But something happens when you come into a place that you are surrounded by people that understand, that understand what you're going through, know what's coming for you, and they can be there to support you, because this is not a disease you can battle, or that, nor should anyone have to battle this on their own. You need people around you that can help and support you.
And I did want to stress that too, that I would never recommend anybody trying to do this alone. It's humanly impossible. As a caregiver, if you don't have help, you're going to go down, and you're not going to be any help to your loved one if you can't, get yourself out of bed, or you get injured, or anything happens to you, you get sick. You need those people around you too, and you need to be able to take care of yourself. And it is hard to ask for help. Really hard to ask for help and to accept that help. But it's also valuable to your friends and family to be able to help you, because they don't know what to do. They know you're going through tough stuff, but they don't know how to help. And it could be something simple like, hey, I need milk from the grocery store. Could you go get it for me? Or I need to run a quick errand. Can you come sit with my loved one? Just watch TV with them. There's so many things that loved ones and, friends and family can do for you. Can you plow my driveway when it snows? I had that happen where, Mike could no longer do that. I had a neighbor that would just show up and plow my driveway, and I never even asked him, because he knew if I needed to get out, I needed my driveway cleared. So, there's a multitude of things that people can do to help.
I love that. I love that. Okay, people are having such a blast. I don't know if you're seeing these comments.
Oh, that's Wendy.
Yeah, Wendy jumped in. You're the best. And you've helped her through a lot. And your hugs are the best. I agree.
I
You
just
and
saw
Mike. You guys
Wendy a
have great
couple
hugs.
weeks ago. Wendy is from my hometown, Geneseo, and she has ALS out there. And they did a Wheelin' for Wendy ride recently where they got motorcycles and cars. And my son Jacob and I went, and they started in one small town at a bar and all got together and then rode to the next one. And it was such a cool sight. There were so many motorcycles. It was so cool. And we just kind of bar hopped, and then we went to Geneseo, and then they all drove by Wendy's house, and she was out on her front porch, and it was so neat to see all the love that was thrown her way. So,
Oh,
yeah.
well, Wendy, we're sending you lots of love from Sunflower Hour. Thanks for tuning in, and stay strong. You sound like an amazing woman.
She is.
So I love it.
Yeah.
Wendy, thanks for joining us. Well, Carrie, now, I mean, we're up on a high note. I want to keep things high, but I think it's important to talk about too, after loss. How do you even begin? I can't imagine. I am so in awe of you, just as a woman, as a wife, as a caregiver, as a mother, of all of the things, and for you to go through all of this. And then I can't imagine what it is like losing the love of your life. So how do you deal with it? How did you deal with the loss? There's a lot of other people that unfortunately are going to be stepping into your shoes. How do you cope with it all?
I would say I'm still dealing with it. Probably always will be in some capacity. For those who don't know, I did meet Mike in high school, and went to college. We were still together, and got married right after college. I have never not had him in my life until he passed away. I've never even lived by myself until he passed away, and so that's been a lot for me. And kind of it started when his disease started progressing. I had to start managing the yard and cars and, all the things that as a team you do together, but he's always been there. Even when he couldn't do those things, I could talk to him, and we could, even through the eye gaze machine, we could have discussions and help make decisions together. So that's been a big adjustment for me. Being alone has been a big adjustment for me. I will say what gives me a lot of strength is, I realized that number one, Mike would want me to be happy, as I would him if things had turned the other way. And his example of wanting to show people how you get through adversity, our kids, like I realize now, shortly after he passed away, that people that were watching Mike and I are now watching me, and how am I going to go forward and handle this? And, it is hard. I'm not going to say I do it well every day. I have days where I'm depressed. I don't get off the couch every once in a while, but I don't want to let that become my norm. I'm a bit of a fighter, and I feel like that's just a waste. That's not what Mike would want. That's not what my kids need and my friends need. And I'm incredibly blessed with the rest of my family, and I'm still here and I still have a life to live. And so, I am choosing to find ways to, spend time with my family and friends and do things that I enjoy. And probably the biggest benefit I could put out there is I now have sole possession of the remote control. That's really the only benefit, I think, but, I would gladly give that back up. I miss Mike's voice. I miss, having him here with me. I miss his touch. I miss just our doing life together. I miss that tremendously and always will. And I don't know that I will fully ever process how our life together ended. But, I'm still gonna get up every day, and I'm gonna try to make him proud, and be there for the rest of my family. So.
You are. I know you're making him and your boys so proud, and you've stepped into this role as an ambassador for ALS United because you want to keep this fight going for him, right? If anything, I think it gave you more motivation, at least from the person that I know, to you're not going to stop until this ends, like this entire
Absolutely.
team. What has it meant for you stepping into that role of becoming an ambassador? What has that been like for you?
It was so easy to do. While Mike was alive, he made it his mission to do everything he could to try to find a cure, to find a treatment, to bring awareness. And we did that together. And, that didn't stop when he passed away. ALS has changed my life, my children's life, all these people that we know, a lot of people have been so affected by this, and people we don't even know. And I meet people on a daily basis, like Wendy and other people that I didn't know before, that are battling this disease, and it's ruthless and it's endless. And there's just no cure right now and no effective treatment. And I think I would be doing Mike a disservice if I just, said, oh, well, my fight's over and I'm going to let somebody else fight this fight. Having gone through it, having lived it, it's ingrained in my soul, in my heart. And it's something that, we all want to see end. And the only way we can do that is to keep fighting, raising funds. And, that's what I'm going to keep doing as long as I can.
I love that. It is absolutely beautiful. I want to show, we've got some other amazing pictures of Mike throughout the times. I want to show those. And, September, we've been saying it, September's a really big month. There have been so many amazing things happening. What's September been like for you? Because you've been busy. You've been at all kinds of great things. We just had the classic, then you were at the Peoria walk. There were so many great things going on. I'm going to show these beautiful pictures while you tell us, what's your September been like as an ALS United Greater Chicago's ambassador?
Yeah, it started actually in August. Like, I volunteer anything I can, but being in Central Illinois versus Chicago, it's difficult. This was the walk just a couple weeks ago, and that's Ed Rapp, who is battling ALS and has been for 10 years. He is the person that got Mike and I to Johns Hopkins so that Mike could get diagnosed. And he has been an amazing ALS warrior himself. And so happy to see that his disease is taking a slower progress. He's a great guy. And anyway, that was just a couple weeks ago. So one of the ways I cope with loss, this is for you, Susan. Mike and I decided he knew I was going to get probably 2 kitties after he was gone. And so we got together and he helped me pick out 2 names. And I got these 2 adorable kitties, brother and sister, about a week after he passed away. The first one was Murphy. He's the brother. And then this is Penny. And they were both named after our trip to Ireland that we took. It was our last trip we took before he got diagnosed. And they have been the joys of my life. They give me my love and they take care of me. They watch out for me. So yeah.
You're just perfect. Just keep.
That's my 2-headed cat with 1 tail, it looks like.
They are perfect.
They're super sweet. Yeah. So here's how I got involved in the ALS Classic up in Chicago. That's the big fundraiser that ALS United puts on every year. They've done it for years. And back in 2021, that September, they invited Mike and I, and our son Jacob came with, out to the Classic because Mike loved golf so much. And he had the time of his life. He was in his wheelchair. We drove the wheelchair van out to a place on the course and got set up by the margarita van, which Mike loved. And he had the time of his life that day. And this was actually the first time we met you in person. We had seen you a few times and we surprised you. We didn't tell you we were coming and we just showed up that day. So
no, Sam kept that secret. It was very exciting.
Yep.
All this love we had from talking and being on the show and getting to be on the phone for hours, I got to actually hug both of you in person. So that's why, Wendy, I can definitely attest that you are right. She does, both of them, give the best hugs.
Yeah. It was a great day.
I mean, come on. Yep, of course.
There's a little bit of his expression.
The band. That smile was infectious. See, clearly, he just infected us all with his silliness. It was beautiful.
He does. Yeah.
My gosh.
We still talk to him and tell stories. And I have so many pictures of his smile. And, we keep him ever present every day. We don't shy away from it. That's how we keep him alive, and we joke about him. And yeah.
Absolutely. What is one good way? I want to end on this beautiful note, because he was such a larger than life person. He just had the best heart. He was such an amazing man. How, for everyone watching here, what could we do to honor Mike?
Oh gosh, I would say just keep fighting the fight. That's what he would want. He doesn't want it to be about him. He wants it to be about let's figure this out. Let's help others who are battling ALS, because it is such a terrible, tragic disease, and nobody nobody deserves to go through that, either as the person with ALS or a family who has to endure watching their loved one go through it. He would want you to keep donating, keep talking about it, keep bringing awareness, and don't stop until we have this to where we don't have to talk about this anymore, except to celebrate that we finally made it. Yeah,
absolutely. And I can't wait for that day, Carrie. I cannot wait for the celebration we are all going to have when we are able to say those words, that this is now a curable disease and a livable disease, and we no longer have to know that ALS means what it means. I don't even need to say the words. We just don't want to know it means that anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Carrie, I love seeing you. Thank you so much for coming on, as always, and being able to just remind us about what a beautiful man Mike was and how important it is to continue this fight in his honor and for everyone that has lost their battle, is battling, and is going to be battling this disease. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for being an incredible ambassador and for continuing to spread awareness for ALS United. You're amazing. I cannot wait to see you again, hopefully in Bali soon.
Let me say one last thing. That ALS United group, you included, Julie, Kendra, Sam. I know there's new people on there, Kat. You're going to bring on Sarah. That group is the most heartfelt, unselfish, caring group of people I have ever met. And I am so glad to still be able to be involved with them and call you all friends, because, I mean, everything you do is for those people battling ALS. And you don't have to do what you do. You do it because you want to. And all of us that have had the pleasure to be around all of you are so much better people. So thank you to everybody at ALS United as well.
Carrie, I'm not ready for these things, for all the emotions that are happening on this show today. Thank you. Thank you. All the things. All I can say is I feel the exact same way. I know Sam, I know Sarah, I know everybody feels the exact same way about everybody that is part of this family, you included. You guys are the reason that everybody is fighting so hard, and you are making that reality. You are helping, because I know if Julie was here, she'd say the same thing, right? This ALS United cannot happen without the amazing warriors like you. So it's because of all of this together, of everybody coming together, that is how we are going to end this disease. So thank you for everything we're doing.
Yep. I love you all. Thank you.
I love you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye. My gosh, you guys, I can't with the emotions today. This is too much for me. I'm sorry you get to watch this all happening, but I did want to really, really, really point out, besides the fact that Carrie is one of the most amazing humans I've ever met, and I love her story, and I love getting her. I hope she comes back soon, because I know you're all going to fall in love with her as much as I have. But Wendy, the amazing Wendy, the one that she was talking about and sharing that beautiful story about, Sam also put up the link. She is a Sunflower Hour family member. So if you want to learn a little bit more about Wendy, and if you want to see her episode, that is up in the comment section as well. Check it out. She is such a rad chick and has done some really, really, really cool things. So Wendy, thanks for being a part of our family as well. Now, we are going to keep this going. I'm going to pull myself together and compose myself and get back at it. We have another amazing guest tonight, and I am so excited to see her again, especially to have her back on the show. She is another fan favorite. Now, she is truly one of the most happiest people that I have ever met. I don't think I have ever seen her, no matter what the situation, the circumstance, the time, no matter what it has been. I have never seen this girl without a smile on her face. It's true. Her heart is bursting with love, and her positive attitude is insanely infectious. Between her and Mike, you put them in a room and it's just an explosion of happiness. It's insanity that I am here for every second. Now, she is a true superhero in every sense. Please welcome our very own Director of Development, Sarah Brandt.
Hey guys, hey Susan.
Your hat is so exciting. I've been staring at this the whole show. Love it. Can people get that? Is that available?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Susan. This is an exclusive benefit for our Team ALS charity runners. It is an incentive challenge for them. So, you know, the Bank of America Chicago Marathon does have fundraising requirements for our runners. And if they go a little bit above and beyond, which many of them have already, they get this exclusive Team ALS hat that they can wear with pride, knowing, you know, that they went above and beyond and that they did more. So yes, I just wanted to, sample it for everyone tonight. And
that is gorgeous.
Team ALS.
That is gorgeous. And I'm jealous. So anyone watching, if you want that super cool hat, now you've got to run for it. You've got to put it, you've got to make it happen. We don't make, a hat that gorgeous though. It can't just be easy, right? You gotta give a little bit for it. So speaking of this, I love that let's just dive right into it, right? Because you yourself are fantastic. You are the woman behind Team ALS. You went from literally running the race as part of Team ALS to growing it to what it is today, which is literally year after year. It is a record-setting team. That is so, it's just incredible. It blows my mind. Every year, I think you can't do even more. And I'm like, why would I even think that? Sarah comes in and just blows it out of the water. You do every single year. So first of all, let's take it back for a second. What was it like running for Team ALS?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So that was wild. That was actually 10 years ago. I ran my first marathon with Team ALS in 2015. And I didn't ever have any desire to run a full marathon. I had done a couple half marathons, but I was like, why would anyone ever want to run 20 miles?
Exactly. Why? I still don't have the answer to that question.
Yes. So far. But, I'm like, we're asking people to do this, to run really far and raise money for ALS. So maybe if we're asking people to do it, I should try it also. And so I did. And my husband signed up with me and we ran that first Chicago marathon. And I did it 5 years in a row. I just, it's one of those things where you think, oh, just you won and I'm good. But there's something about that race that just,
Yeah.
And again, it's the cause too, right? I think that so many people join Team ALS because they have a personal connection. I mean, yes, Chicago's an iconic race. Yes, it's one of the world majors, but most people on the team do it for the cause. And so that makes all the difference, and why we have a lot of alumni, those that come back year after year.
It's true. There is a lot of repeat, and which I think is so funny because I see you guys talk. It is hard. And first of all, I would just also like to say, every time that I was blessed enough to be in Chicago to cheer, to watch you run, you never looked like you were. I mean, you ran, you killed it, but then you would end the marathon and you looked perfect. And I don't understand it. I feel like just walking from my car to the cheer tent, I look more winded and more beat down than you did after running 26.2 miles. I don't understand it. This is why I say you are a superhero. You make no sense to me, but it is hard. And what kept you going through? How in the heck do you get through 10 miles, 20 miles or training? How did you keep going?
Yes. Well, it's definitely not easy. And especially if you're not an endurance runner and you've never gone that far before, right? You have so many doubts. And so it really is a mental thing more than a physical thing. Yeah. Surprisingly, your body can do a lot of things that you don't think it can or don't give it credit for. So it truly is, like a mental thing to keep going. So I think once you keep building and you're like, oh, I've never run 10 miles before. And then you run 10 miles and then you have to run, 13 and you're like, how am I going to do this? And you do. But I think, again, like running for the cause, running for ALS, because ALS slowly robs people the ability to move their bodies, for you to keep that in mind and realize, like, you know what? I don't have anything to complain about. Like, my legs are still working, so I'm going to keep using them. Mm-hmm. And so I think, that definitely matters and makes a difference. And that's what we tell our charity runners all the time is, what you guys are doing for yourself is a huge accomplishment. But again, for everyone else that you are positively impacting through your marathon miles, it gives me the goosebumps every time when I think about, what they're doing.
Ways. And that's a good point too, because I want them to hear from someone directly from ALS United, right? What is all of that charity going to? All that money, all those runners are out there, they are raising money, people are donating to sponsor them run the Chicago Marathon. What are those dollars doing?
Yes, well, a lot. I will tell you that. Again, like we heard from, Carrie with Mike, there needs to be treatment options for people when they're diagnosed with ALS. It needs to be a livable disease, like you said, a curable disease. It's not acceptable that there aren't better options for people. And so a lot of the funds go to research. international research, like wherever there is a good program happening, like that's what we want to support, because I think it's close, it's out there, and we have to figure this out. So the funds help to, support research. And then, of course, the care services. Everything that we do is free to those living with ALS and their families. And we want to support them with, the home visits and the equipment lending and the support groups. And we fund ALS multidisciplinary clinics. So I think, it all matters so, so much. And it really does, go directly to help those impacted by ALS.
Absolutely. And we hear that on this show, story after story, when we bring on individuals that are taking advantage of these services that unfortunately found their way to us in the worst possible situation. I wish we didn't have to meet these incredible people, but we do. And we get to hear straight from them. You heard from Carrie, they couldn't have done this without these resources. So everyone that donates, everyone that runs, every single mile that someone is running for Team ALS, that's what it's doing. It's helping give people the best that they can in the situation. Mm-hmm. So I love that. I love that you can share that. What is it like for runners? What can what can they expect? What are some of the highlights the runners and their families can expect from being a part of Team ALS?
Yes. Well, again, they're signing on to do something huge, and we know that it is a sacrifice, a huge sacrifice of their time and, their physicality with their training and then the fundraising efforts. And so we really want to make them feel, special and do some extra things for them to thank them for choosing to, be on the team. And so we provide them with a custom race singlet. That's something else that just Team ALS members get, is their own shirts. And this year it's so exciting because I know one of our runners, she is a graphic designer, and she created this beautiful Team ALS logo that is on all of the race shirts. And so it's like extra special. And she really, incorporated a lot of cool pieces. And she even made a video to show how she designed it. I mean, it's so special and so cool. And so we're, super excited that we can offer these race shirts to Team ALS. And we send them out early so they can wear them in their training runs and break them in. And then, of course, wear them along the streets of Chicago with the 50,000 other runners and all the spectators. And so, yes, lots of awareness is being raised from these race shirts. But again, just a thank you to the runners for being part of it. And then we have an amazing coach, Coach Brendan Cornane, who helps our runners if they need any support throughout their training period. And he is just a huge resource, and we're so, so lucky to have him. And so that's another little perk for them is, they do get some coaching and help with their training. And then we welcome everyone to Chicago at the Marathon Expo. We have a Team ALS booth. And so again, just want everyone to feel appreciated and stop by and say hi, and we give them a little thank you gift. And then we host a dinner the night before the race just to come together with the runners and some of their friends and family and celebrate everything that they've been doing, all of their hard work, and just kind of encourage them for their early morning, the big race the next day. And then we also have a race day space for them. So all day on Sunday from 5:30 in the morning until 4 p.m. We have a great spot right across from the start and finish line. And that's where the runners can come. And there's, private gear check and food and beverages. We live stream the race so their friends and family can stop by. And then there's more food afterwards for them, and massage therapists come. So we have an amazing group of therapists that, yes, dedicate their time to help our runners. So they're awesome. But yeah, so again, just some perks, some ways that we can help support them and thank them for what they're doing, because it's huge.
It really is. It is huge. And I don't even know, can we say this? What is the goal? What is our goal for the marathon this year?
Yes. Okay. So our team goal was $450,000 for the Team ALS to raise, but they've already surpassed that. I know. And, we still have a few weeks left. And so the new goal is $505,000, because that will be the largest amount ever raised by Team ALS. So, we bumped it up
Oh
quite a
my
bit.
God.
I know. I know. It's amazing. It is so incredible. I mean, we have 250 runners and they are making that big of a difference together. It's
Wow.
so amazing to see. And it's so humbling, and it's such an honor to get to know them a little bit and hear their stories and see what they're doing. So yes, stay tuned, see what will happen with Team ALS, because like I said, they still have a few weeks to go. So
Holy smokes. I can't eat. I mean, massive. Anyone ever finds their way to this that is a runner, thank you. Thank you for what you guys are doing. This is no easy task. And oh my gosh, 250 runners have come out, pledged to do this for Team ALS. That is huge.
yes, I know it's going to be
my
great.
gosh.
So there'll be lots of bright orange on the race course.
I
October.
love it.
So,
I love it. Now, because you were here from the beginning, and like I said, you've taken Team ALS. You have just skyrocketed it. Do you remember? I mean, I'm putting you on the spot. So if you don't, do you happen to remember that first year? Do you remember about how many bibs we had from what it started with to what it's grown into now?
I mean, that's a good question, Season. I don't know, 10 years
It's okay.
ago,
I put you on the spot.
50 runners, maybe. That sounds about right, I think. So yeah, it's been incredible to see the momentum and see how the team has continued to grow.
Wow. And like you said, it's not like we're only getting new people, which is amazing. And if you want to run, please, if you want to run for Team ALS, come out and come out fast, because those bibs go so quickly. I think you guys were like halfway sold out within the first couple weeks of opening registration.
Yes, it was very fast this year. And by the beginning of January, we were totally full. So yes, it's something.
That is crazy. So
if you're thinking about it, act quickly.
absolutely. I'll get back to that in a second. But what I think is really cool, you mentioned it earlier, it's a lot of return runners. It's a lot of people that have done this super hard thing, and it meant so much to them. They come back year after year after year. We've had some on the show that literally run the marathon, and then they take the weekend, and then come that Monday, they're like, okay, I'm ready to go. Let's sign up again for next year. That's saying something. I think that is saying something really special about Team ALS and the meaning behind this run.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, it's so true. It is such a special group of people. Like individually, they're doing something huge, but collectively together, like what they're doing is amazing. And so, yes, I think being part of this group, it's a unique experience, and it is pretty special and shocking that people want to come back and do it again, right?
I think that's incredible. So for people that are interested, because now you guys know, and we're being real here, this isn't just trying to fill bibs. They literally go so fast. I've gotten those messages before, like, how do we get in? They go so fast. When do you actually open up usually? When does it get open for the bibs for the next year?
Yes. So I know it's hard to think about, especially if you are training right now and getting ready to run in a few weeks, but the Chicago Marathon this year is on October 12th. And then the registration for 2026 opens October 21st. So like that next week, they're ready to go and ready to start filling those bibs. And so
my
much time
gosh.
to think. But
it doesn't, but get them in fast, because like Sarah said, by January those bibs were already full. We don't know how many we're going to get next year. Who knows? Let's hope even more than 250, because every year you've managed to get us more and more and more. That number has continued to go up. But yeah, if you have at all any interest, I mean, you'd be joining one of the greatest teams. I'm going to go ahead and just say it, one of the greatest teams in the entire world, of what you guys have been able to do and accomplish. You will, I promise you, I've talked to so many runners, you will feel like an absolute superstar running for Team ALS. They take such good care of you. It is an amazing experience. If you feel like you want to get out there and you want to help make an impact for people like the Rickies, for people like Wendy, for everyone that is battling this disease, consider joining. Or even, Sarah, tell people if they're not runners, because I get that. Look, everyone is not meant to run. There are so many other opportunities. How can people get involved if they're not a runner?
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up, Susan, because again, it's kind of like Chicago Marathon week. I mean, the race happens on Sunday, but there's a lot happening. So we'll be at the expo Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So you can come out and join us there at our Team ALS booth and help us welcome our runners. There is race day. We have 2 cheer stations along the course. So we need a lot of people to come out, and we'll give you noisemakers and signs, and you just come and help us cheer for our runners. And then, of course, the 50,000 others that are out there, running through the streets of Chicago. More running.
I just keep running.
Yes. And so it would be so fun because, again, we want to encourage them, and we, are there like halfway through the race when everybody's still kind of feeling good. And then we're there at mile 23 when they really need a big cheer and a smile and a friendly face. And so, yes, please consider coming out and helping us to cheer on our runners because they have done so much. So we would love to have you.
True. And I have heard from so many of the runners that we don't even understand how valuable that is, right? What, especially like you said, when you hit that 23, it is hard. You're pushing your body to the max. And then for them to come around and hear people yelling their names, cheering them on, telling them, reminding them that they can do this. I've heard so many people say that was the thing that helped push them through, keep them going, and keep them getting across that finish line. So anyone that comes out to cheer, that is a very important, very, very important role.
It is, absolutely. And it's a long day too, for you to be out there and, in the weather and cheering, but it's so crucial. And we, again, just want our runners to feel appreciated. And that's another way we can do that is to cheer them.
Oh, well, I'm so excited. The 12th, I can't believe this, October 12th, it's literally around the corner. My gosh, I'm assuming your runners are ready, right? Is everyone pumped up? How's the energy on the team right now?
Yes. I think so. We had our final Zoom meeting a few weeks ago, and I think there's just a mixed bag of emotions, right? Like excited and nervous and ready. And but they'll do their final long run this weekend. So they'll do their 20-miler, which is the longest that they run before race day. And then after their 20-miler this weekend, they'll kind of be, slowing down their mileage until race day. So.
I did not know that. So when you're training, no one tries to run the full 26.2?
Yeah. No, it's interesting. And Coach Brennan talks about this a lot, but I think it's a well-known thing is that, it does more harm than good. So, but I remember the first time, like I did the 20-miler and I was like, are you sure I'm ready to shoot 26.2? Like, I don't know. I don't feel ready. Like, I don't know if this is right. But no, that's the longest that they say you should run before a marathon for your body. And then
gosh,
kind of like get stronger the next few weeks until race day. And I mean, you don't stop running. You're still running, but just not as far as 20 miles. Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't completely obvious I've never run a marathon in my life, then there we go. Wow, I would have never guessed that. I guess I never listened to him talk or never asked any of the runners that. I just assumed if you got to prepare for 26.2, you're running like 30 just to be like 26. Got this. Come on. Oh, well, Sarah, would you ever, I'm just going to throw it out there. Would you ever lace up those shoes again? You plan on ever running the marathon again?
Yes. I will say it's always hard. Like you have FOMO going into Chicago Marathon weekend when you've done it before and you're like, I'm not picking up my bib and, but I don't think Chicago is in the cards for me, but we do have a lot of other exciting races. And so,
let's go there because I was going to get there. I wanted to before the show ended because this is, again, this woman, you are not human. I'm convinced you are not. You have taken this Team ALS just to the next level. And not only have you just dominated in the US, but you've gone straight up international at this point. So fill us in on all this excitement.
Yes, we have taken Team ALS on the road and super excited. But, again, like the people that participate in Chicago and run with Team ALS, oftentimes they do want to try a different race or, do another world majors or, something. And so we're like, yes, let us find those opportunities. And so we do have 3 runners running Berlin this weekend, which is super exciting. And so that's like our first Team ALS international crew that's going out there. But we do have next year Tokyo and Dublin and Rome and a few other like US marathons. We have Miami in January, which is a good time of year to run in Miami, and then the Marine Corps Marathon and the Napa Marathon. So again, a little destination vacation fun, throw in a race for ALS. And, but, again, it's just cool to be able to offer these additional opportunities to Team ALS and, see what else they want to do for the cause.
Yeah. And I think it's cool too, because every time I talk to you, that list is growing. I mean, last time we talked, it was literally just Berlin and Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got Italy, we've got Milan, we've got all these other amazing places.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I know
Wow.
It's pretty special and pretty cool. So
Wow.
there are still spots for 2026 for most of those races, not Tokyo, but Berlin for 2026. Okay. And then, yes, the other races, Rome and Miami and Dublin, which I think would be
How do people find out more information on that if they want to take a little destination trip and run for Team ALS?
Yes, so they can go to runtodefeatals.org is our website, or just email me and I'm happy to, provide more details about that.
Yeah, I'll throw that back up here again. Yes, reach out to runtodefeatals.org, or Sarah is so approachable. She's always there to answer questions, and her email is so simple. It's her name, sarah@alsunitedchicago.org. Super simple, sarah@alsunitedchicago.org. So reach out to any of the places. That is so cool. I love that there's still opportunities. And what I think is even better is you're cool. Oh, Sam put that up in the comment section too for anyone that wants to send her an email. Either way, you can get a hold of all the information you need. But now you're going to see those bibs. You're going to see Team ALS shirts. You're going to see that awareness now literally around the world. And that is a great opportunity for people to just even get to talk and ask, what is this?
Yes, absolutely, Susan. It's so true. And I think that happens often. I mean, we know that, right, from when we wear our ALS gear. But yes, when you have that shirt on, people, want to know. Maybe they do have a personal connection or knowledge about it, or maybe they just wonder. But it truly does so much to raise awareness. And it is very exciting to know that that will be in more places next year.
I love that. If anybody is watching this and is on the fence and has been thinking about it, but hasn't pulled the triggers, too scared to run a marathon, not sure if they should run for a charity, what would you say to those people?
I would say you could do it. And I know that it sounds hard, and you might not even be a runner. I mean, we've had people that literally have never run before, and they sign up and they show up and they do it. And again, we support you with that. We don't just throw you in the frying pan. Like, we are there to help you, and we've got Coach Brendan, right? And so, but yeah, you will be surprised at what your body can do. And again, it is a lot of, a mental thing. And again, when you are running for those who can't, it just gives you a whole different perspective. So you can do it. And people want to support you too. I know that the fundraising seems daunting, and people, talk about that like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money to fundraise. But, people want an opportunity to do good. And when you tell them what you're doing for ALS, they're going to want to make a donation to support that, because, it's no small feat to run a marathon. And so people will want to support you. I promise you.
I love that you bring that up, because I do think that is really scary for people. And what I will also say on that is I've heard from many, many people that you guys are there. You're there every step of the way. So you're there to help with ideas. You're there to help show them how to raise money. So I don't want anyone listening to this, I don't want you to be scared or intimidated, because like Sarah said, it's easier than you think. And when you have people around you that can help give you guidance and give you suggestions and share success stories on how other team members were able to raise money, you have people around you to help you. You're not by yourself. And any step of this journey, if you decide to sign up for Team ALS, you are instantly a part of this group and you have help every step of the way.
Yes.
You really do. Anything else you want to say to people, Sarah? I love you. I want to keep you here forever. I am so thankful that you are literally leading the helm here on Team ALS. There's no one better for this than you.
Well, thank you, Susan. And same, like I love hanging out with you and chatting. And I think I would just encourage people right now to go to the Team ALS website and read these stories of, you know, people that are running. Like you can click on names. We've got, you know, the fundraisers and then the teams, and, you know, just read some of the stories and get to know some of the members of Team ALS. I mean, they really have beautiful stories, and it's so special and cool to be able to share those with everyone and, you know, let people know who these people are that are making up Team ALS and making these huge, huge impacts on the ALS community, you know, in a very positive way.
Absolutely. And bonus, you get that cool hat. So, I mean, if that alone doesn't make people start flooding the emails to you right now, I don't know what will. Oh, fantastic. Well, you guys, you heard Sarah, there's still spots open. So make sure you go to runtodefeatals.org, or you can email Sarah to secure your spots for 2026 on all different places around the world. Come join, right? Are you going to be at any of those events, Sarah? Are you hopping around?
Gosh, I wish I would be at those events, but not.
What do we have to talk to you about this?
I know. I'm like, no specific plans yet, but I will keep you posted.
I love that. Well, you're gonna have to come back and give us the update. I want to see, because like you said, this weekend is Berlin. We've got Berlin happening this. Oh my gosh. So let's give a massive shout out to our runners. We got to meet a couple of those on this show, actually. An amazing couple that are going to be running Berlin. So massive good luck to all of our Team ALS runners.
Mary and Jeremy are runners. So yes, they are our inaugural group to do this. So super exciting.
Amazing. Sarah, as always, you are the absolute best. I am so happy that you are doing what you're doing and you are just growing this team bigger and better every year. Thanks for taking care of Team ALS, and I will see you very, very soon.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Susan. Bye, everyone.
Bye. You guys, you heard it. There are so many great things that came out of the show tonight. If you have any interest at all, and you want to come out and join a walk team, we still have that walk coming up on September 21st. Join that. If you have any interest in running for Team ALS around the world, coming out or cheering or supporting those that are running, make sure you head to the website, find out all the information. So many great ways to get involved. As always, guys, thank you for being a part of this family. Make sure you come back here next month for some more amazing shows, blasts of guests, all kinds of good things happening. Enjoy the rest of your September. I will see you all very, very soon. And until next time, be bright and shine your light. I'm just going to keep y'all with me all night. I love it. One more quick throw out there. Again, before I lose you guys, remember, in the words of Carrie, guys, everybody keep this battle alive for Mike, for Wendy, for all those that are battling. Thank you all for what you do. Have a beautiful rest of the month.